You know that feeling. You really want to dive deep into a place, get the history, the culture, the scenery, but there are just so many options, it feels kind of overwhelming.
Oh, definitely. It's a classic travel problem, isn't it? You want the real deal, the actual highlights, but wading through all the lists and recommendations, it can be exhausting.
Well, that's exactly what we've been doing. We took a deep dive into Charnia. It's this really vibrant city on Crete's northwest coast. We used a great guide to sort of find its core, its essence.
Yeah, Chania is super important for Crete. It's the second biggest city, and it's got, what, over 4,000 years of history packed in there. You see the Venetian layers, the Ottoman touches, and obviously the Greek heart of it all. It's amazing how it all blends together.
Exactly. And what I liked about our source guide is that it wasn't just the big ticket tourist things. It mixes those landmarks with some maybe lesser known spots, but always focusing on what makes a trip meaningful. The history, the culture, that incredible natural beauty, and finding those genuine local experiences.
Right. So our goal here is basically to pull out the most compelling things Chania offers. We want to give you a clear path, hopefully an exciting one, to understanding what makes this city tick. Kind of a shortcut to the best bits.
Okay, let's get into it. What makes Chania, Chania? And you almost have to start with the old Venetian harbor, don't you? It feels like the city's icon.
Absolutely. It really is the crown jewel, like the guide says. And you see photos of it everywhere, right? It's got to be one of the most photographed places in Greece.
Yeah, you can see why. That 16th century lighthouse is pretty spectacular. But the harbor itself, the history there is incredible. Built between 1320 and 1356. Can you even imagine?
It's mind-boggling. I mean, think about the centuries of ships coming and going. It was a massive deal for the Venetians. Strategically, commercially, building it back then was a huge undertaking.
Wow.
And today, you've got that history, but also this amazing energy, those colorful buildings right on the water, the Venetian architecture, and all the cafes and restaurants buzzing.
You can almost picture it, gazing out at the sea, maybe eating some amazing Greek food. And that mosque, the Kusuk Hasan Mosque, from the 17th century, it adds such a unique silhouette against the sky, a real sign of the Ottoman period.
It really shows how the city's story is written in its buildings, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the guide says, don't just stick to the main harbor front. You should get lost in those little winding alleys behind it.
Yeah.
That's where you find cool little shops, more restaurants, maybe a bit more local feel.
Right, those hidden gems. And a top tip from the guide. You have to see the harbor and sunset. Apparently the fiery views are just something else.
Oh, I bet. That golden hour light on the water hitting those old buildings must be magical. Absolutely.
Okay, switching gears a bit. From history to just pure, wow, natural beauty, the guide points us towards Balos Lagoon.
Ah, Balos. Yeah. It gets called one of Europe's best beaches all the time, and honestly, it lives up to it. That crazy turquoise water meeting that sand with the pinkish tint, it's almost surreal.
It looks like a Photoshop postcard. But the guide does warn it's very popular, like over 10,000 visitors a day in high season.
Yeah, it gets incredibly busy. That unique look, the pink from crushed shells, the shallow turquoise water, it draws crowds. It's stunning, no doubt, but maybe not the place for quiet solitude in July.
Okay, so for something maybe a bit easier to get to from the city and maybe a bit calmer, Niachora Beach.
Yes, that's flagged as a really good option for just relaxing.
Yeah.
And it's super convenient, like a 15-minute walk from the center of Chania. Big plus.
And it sounds perfect if you've got kids, right? Calm, shallow water, emerald green. Plus, you've got everything you need right there. Sunbeds, umbrellas, restaurants on the beach.
Exactly. It's sheltered, so the water stays calm. And yeah, having tavernas right there is great. You can just make a day of it easily. The guide also throws in Clarissos Beach and Golden Beach as nearby alternatives, too, so options.
Nice. Okay, let's talk about diving into local life and maybe getting some snacks. The old Chania market, the municipal market, gets a big recommendation.
Oh yeah, that sounds fantastic. A proper local hub. It opened way back in 1913, so it's been part of Chania life for ages.
And it sounds like you can find pretty much everything. Souvenirs, handmade crafts, but also like amazing local cheeses and meats.
Definitely. These markets are brilliant for that. You meet the producers, see what's fresh, maybe try a few things. It's a whole sensory thing,
Yeah.
Not just shopping. The guide specifically raves about the fruit and the cheese. Green tea's got to be good.
Yeah. And it even suggests grabbing stuff from the market for a picnic down at Niachora Beach. That sounds like a perfect afternoon.
Great idea.
And timings, generally open mornings, sometimes later in the week, Monday to Saturday. good to know.
Yeah, practical info is always useful for planning.
Okay, circling back to that lighthouse, the Lighthouse of Chania. It's more than just a pretty landmark, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. It's packed with history. Venetians built it, 16th century, mainly for defense, guiding their ships. That makes it one of the world's oldest working lighthouses, which is pretty amazing.
Seriously old, and it's not just Venetian style anymore, is it? The guide says it's been rebuilt over time, so it's got bits of Venetian, Egyptian, and Ottoman architecture mixed in.
Yeah, it's like a visual history lesson. Shows how different powers controlled the port over the centuries. Each left their mark. It's pretty tall, too, 69 feet. Can't go inside, unfortunately.
Oh, shame.
But the main draw, the guide insists, are those sensational city views from the area around it.
Right. Apparently, you get this amazing panorama of nearly all of Chania, and like the harbor, the sunset views from there are supposed to be incredible. Sounds like a must-do for photos.
Definitely. Just finding a spot, taking it all in the old harbor, the city, the hills behind. Imagine the history you're looking out over.
Okay, for some culture, but with a seafaring theme, there's the Maritime Museum of Crete.
Yeah, and it's in the old Venetian Firkus Fortress, right at the harbor entrance. Perfect location for a museum about Crete's naval history, isn't it?
Yeah. Totally fitting. And it sounds like it covers a huge span of time, from ancient days up to the 20th century. The guide mentions things like Bronze Age shipbuilding tools and models of Minoan ships. That sounds fascinating.
It really does. Seeing those ancient tools gives you a real connection to how early seafaring started there.
Right.
And the Minoan ships, they were so advanced for their time, crucial for their trade across the Mediterranean. Then seeing how things evolved up to modern warships, it tells a big story.
Definitely sounds worth a visit. It's open most days till mid-afternoon, and the entry fee is pretty low.
Yeah.
Seems like a great way to understand a really key part of Crete's identity.
Exactly. The sea is just so central to everything there.
Now, for the adventurous types listening, the guide really pushes a day trip to the Samaria Gorge.
Ah, yes, the famous gorge. If you love hiking, love the outdoors, this is a big one. It's a, nearly 10-mile trek?
Yeah.
Downhill from Zeliscalo to the coast at Alleghi Rumeli. It's stunning, but definitely a challenge.
Yeah, demanding is the word the guide uses. But the payoff is supposed to be amazing coastal views and just getting away from the crowds. The logistics sound a bit tricky, though.
They are. You need a bus to the start. Then the hike itself takes hours. Then you have to catch a ferry from Argia Rumeli at the end. Then another bus back to Chalagia. It's a full-on day trip.
Phew. Which is probably why the guide suggests looking into organized tours. They handle all the transport, give you a guide. Makes sense if you want the experience without the planning headache.
For sure. It's a serious undertaking, but an amazing way to see Crete's wild side, that rugged interior leading down to the sea.
Okay, we mentioned Balas Lagoon before, but the guide comes back to Balas Beach with more practical stuff for a day trip. Must be really special.
It really is spectacular. The guide repeats the bit about the turquoise water and sandy shores, but adds that there are useful amenities now. Snack bars, sunbeds, showers, loose. So it's beautiful, but also practical for a day out.
Right, makes it easier to just hang out there, sunbathe, swim, explore that little island bit. Sounds pretty idyllic. And it's about an hour and 15 minutes drive from Chania.
Roughly, yeah. And it reminds you there were different ways to get there, drive and hike down, or take a ferry, which is often easier. Plus, loads of companies offer day trips specifically to Bylos, so it's quite accessible.
Cool. Okay, complete change of pace now. This one's for the sports fans. The Greek National Football Team Museum. Didn't expect that.
That's a bit niche, right?
Yeah.
But cool. It focuses on the history of Greek soccer, especially, of course, their incredible Euro 2004 win. Shows how passionate Greece is about football.
And the guide says it's one of the biggest museums for a single national team in the world. The main thing to see is the actual European Championship trophy. Imagine seeing that.
Yeah, for a fan, that'd be huge. Plus loads of other stuff. Old shirts, boots, balls, even shirts swapped with players from Spain and France. It's a real dive into football history.
And it's open most days, easy to fit in if you're a soccer fan in Chania. It's a good reminder that culture isn't just ancient history, right?
Absolutely. Sport is a massive part of national identity.
Okay, you absolutely cannot go to Crete and not talk about the food. The guide basically says experiencing Cretan cuisine is non-negotiable.
And rightly so. It's fundamental. It's all about those amazing local ingredients, isn't it? Fresh fish, fantastic cheeses, incredible olive oil, all that fresh fruit and veg. It's the heart of the Mediterranean diet.
Yeah, described as simple, rustic, hearty, but with really big flavors because the ingredients are so good. And apparently Chania, especially around the Old Port, is just full of places serving the real deal. Any specific recommendations?
The guide picks out a couple. Six Camares for stuffed peppers and fresh mussels sounds amazing. And Amphora Taverna for bureki. That's a classic Cretan vegetable pie. Definitely one to try.
Hmm. Bareki, okay. Plus, you can often find food tastings on Old Town tours. That sounds like a smart way to try a bit of everything.
Definitely. Food is such a huge part of travel. Experiencing the local flavors tells you so much.
Now, for something a bit different, especially maybe for families, Minoan's World 90 experience. What on earth is 9D?
Haha. Yeah, it sounds intense. It's basically using lots of tech moving seats, winds, rain, smells, 3D visuals to make an experience really immersive.
Yep.
This one focuses on ancient Cretan history and mythology, designed to be super engaging, especially for kids.
Wow, the 9D cinema part sounds like a theme park ride. Time travel with rain and earthquakes, okay? And then there's a 3D museum, too, walking through Minoan times with models and interactive stuff.
Exactly. It's about making history fun and memorable using technology. The guide gives the ticket prices so you know what to expect cost-wise. Seems like a unique family activity.
Right, and given Chania's whole history is tied to the sea, it makes sense to get out on the water. The guide suggests boat trips are a great way to explore.
Yeah, it gives you a totally different view of the coastline. The little coves you can't reach otherwise, those dramatic cliffs. The guide mentions Chania boat trips as a popular company with tours for different tastes.
So whether you want history or snorkeling or just a sunset cruise, sounds like there's something. That glass-bottom boat trip to Theater Island sounds cool. 3.5 hours, see the coast, maybe some fish, learn from a guide.
Glass-bottom boats are great, aren't they?
Right.
See the underwater world without getting wet.
Mm.
And yeah, combining that with sightseeing and local info sounds like a really nice, relaxed excursion.
Okay, nearly there. One last significant building. The Catholicon of the Venetian Monastery of St. Francis. Sounds impressive.
It really is. Beautiful 16th century Venetian Gothic style. You can see the history in the architecture, and the fact it has later additions, like a bell tower, shows it's been important for centuries.
And it used to be the city's archaeological museum. That really highlights its importance. It's being restored now, maybe to reopen as a museum again.
Yeah, the guide says keep an eye out for that possibility. But even while it's closed for restoration, you can still admire the outside, that amazing stone facade. It's a reminder of Chania's deep, layered past.
Definitely worth seeing the outside then. And just quickly, the guide also drops a few hotel names: luxury, mid-range, budget. Always helpful.
Super useful for planning, yeah. Theta Boutique, Alios Design, Irene Maisonettes. Good to have options.
So looking back at everything this guide covers, it's pretty clear Chania offers just a massive range of things to experience, doesn't it?
It really does. You've got the huge historical sites like the harbor and the lighthouse, then that breathtaking nature like Balos and Samaria Gorge. Something for everyone, really.
Yeah, and it's all woven together with that amazing culture, the fantastic food, and these kind of quirky, unique attractions, too, like the football museum or the 9D thing. It makes Chania feel really distinct.
Mm-hmm. It feels like it nails that balance, you know? Between stepping back into history and just being stunned by the natural beauty. You can wander ancient alleys one minute, be staring at an incredible view the next.
Absolutely. So, thinking about that incredible mix of the layers of history, the vibrant life today, we want to leave you, the listener, with a thought. Out of everything we've touched on, what's the one thing about Chania that's really sparked your curiosity the most? Is it picturing those Venetian ships, dreaming of the turquoise water, or maybe just imagining the taste of that fresh Cretan food? Lots to explore.